It's hard keeping track of what's going on in the world of Marvel superheroes, so we're here to help you with this handy guide. Here's every Marvel movie coming out after Black Widow, from Marvel Studios' entries in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to Sony Pictures projects in the universe of Marvel characters. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is a starring vehicle for the MCU's first Asian hero, the titular Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu. Destin Daniel Cretton is directing, and Chinese-Canadian actor Simu Liu will be holding down the title role. According to the Shang-Chi trailer, the film will find our hero being drawn into the world of the Ten Rings, the terrorist organization that kidnaps Tony Stark and Iron Man and was mentioned by Darren Cross as a potential buyer for the Yellow Jacket technology in Ant-Man. It seems their intimidating boss Wenwu happens to be both Shang-Chi's dad and the notorious villain the Mandarin, and he wants his son to take his place in the terror group. As you might assume, Shang-Chi has a few things to say about that, not to mention a lot of people to punch. We can't wait to see all the action go down on September 3rd, 2021. Sony's universe of Marvel characters kicked off successfully with Venom, which cleaned up at the box office despite critics not being as kind. Considering that the movie brought in a mind-boggling sum of $856 million, a sequel was all but obligatory, set up by a credit scene with a villainous Woody Harrelson and a truly fantastic wig. The sequel, titled Venom Let There Be Carnage, will see Andy Serkis stepping in as the director, telling the story of Harrelson's Cletus Cassidy character as he unleashes carnage on Eddie Brock's world. According to Serkis, the plot will pick up over a year after the events of the first film, with Eddie Brock attempting to readjust to normal life with his symbiote roommate, only to get pulled back into another chaotic conflict with an otherworldly foe. Venom Let There Be Carnage is set for release on September 24th, 2021. Marvel head honcho Kevin Feige has teased that the Eternal story will span tens of thousands of years, telling an epic story of the type we haven't seen yet in the MCU. The film will be directed by Chloe Zhao, who won an Oscar for Best Director for her work on Nomadland, which also nabbed the Academy Award for Best Picture. The titular heroes at the center of the film are a group of superpowered beings created eons ago by the Celestials in order to defend the Earth from the evil deviants. In the real world, they're the brainchild of the great Jack Kirby, who created the comic in the mid-1970s. It features a packed cast that includes the Marvel debuts of Richard Madden, Angelina Jolie, Kumail Nanjiani, and more, featuring a bonus Game of Thrones reunion with Richard Madden as Icarus and Kit Harington as the Black Knight. Eternals touches down on November 5th, 2021. The more we've learned about the third MCU Spider-Man movie, the less we understand about where this series is going. When J.K. Simmons reprised his role as J. Jonah Jameson from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy during the end credits of Spider-Man Far From Home, we probably should have suspected that something strange was afoot in the MCU. Now, reports have emerged that heroes and villains from previous iterations of the Spider-Man series, like Alfred Molina's Dr. Octopus, Jamie Foxx's Electro, and maybe even Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, are all being pulled into this movie for an interdimensional Spider Summit.
I'm sorry, you're saying there's a multiverse?
While Far From Home teased a multiverse that ultimately turned out to be a ruse perpetuated by Mysterio, this movie might be bringing in a multiverse for real.
That's a question. That's a question.
In addition to other Spidey characters, Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange is also joining the cast, and he may be the key to understanding how all these surprising casting announcements fit together. We'll learn exactly how all of the various Spider-Verses potentially fit together when Spider-Man No Way Home hits theaters December 17th, 2021. Joining Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock in the Sony Spider-Verse will be Morbius, based on a living vampire and frequent Spider-Man nemesis who first appeared in the pages of Marvel Comics in 1971. Morbius will star Jared Leto as Dr. Michael Morbius, a brilliant biochemist whose attempts to cure his own deadly blood disease with an experimental vampire bat treatment go predictably awry, transforming him into a superpowered ghoul who must consume human blood to survive. The movie will also feature a surprising appearance from Michael Keaton, most likely reprising his role as Adrian Toomes, aka the Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming. This film will hit theaters on January 28, 2022. In 2019, we learned that the Doctor Strange sequel will be titled Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. The sequel will co-star Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda Maximoff, and it will be directly influenced by the weird events of WandaVision and possibly the events of Loki. Joining the cast of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is Babysitters Club star Xochitl Gomez as America Chavez, also known in the comics as Miss America, a member of the Young Avengers who also happens to be from another dimension. The creative team for the second Strange film is changing in a big way, with Spider-Man trilogy director Sam Raimi stepping in for original director Scott Derrickson. We'll find out what else is changing in the MCU with this one on March 25th, 2022. Taika Waititi of Thor Ragnarok will be returning to direct Thor Love and Thunder, and also to voice the lovable rock alien Korg. But at 2019 San Diego Comic-Con, further details were announced that shocked those in attendance. Specifically, the Ragnarok sequel will see the return of Natalie Portman's Jane Foster, who will follow in her character's recent comic book footsteps by picking up Mjolnir to become Thor herself. Additionally, several of the Guardians of the Galaxy will also be reportedly joining the cast, which makes sense considering Thor was last seen joining the Guardians at the end of Avengers Endgame. Serving as the antagonist for Love and Thunder will be Christian Bale as Gorr the God Butcher, a character who, in the comics, is obsessed with killing gods and absorbing their power. How it comes together will all be revealed when Thor Love and Thunder hits theaters on May 6, 2022. After the tremendous success of 2018's Black Panther, a sequel was a sure thing, with Chadwick Boseman expected to reprise his role as T'Challa, the king of the fictional country of Wakanda. Tragically, in August of 2020, Boseman passed away following a 4-year struggle with cancer. The news came as a shock to Boseman's fans and colleagues alike, as the actor had kept his condition and treatment quiet, even as he continued to work. While Marvel declined to comment too specifically on the future of Black Panther immediately following Boseman's death, Black Panther Wakanda Forever is moving forward with the rest of the cast and crew dedicated to honoring Boseman's memory. The anticipated bittersweet sequel is set to be released on July 8, 2022. No Spider-Man film before it was ever able to do what Sony Pictures Animation's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse did: win an Academy Award. The best animated feature of 2018 is considered by some to be among the greatest superhero films ever made. With its supremely innovative animation style and focus on its eclectic cast of alternate universe Spider-People, its success seems impossible to duplicate, but Sony is still going to try. The Spider-Verse sequel will center on the burgeoning romantic relationship between Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy, reportedly taking place 2 years after the events of the first film. Additional plot details are still a mystery, but a teaser shared by the official Spider-Verse Twitter account flickers through several different Spider logos, which seems to indicate that once again we'll be meeting a variety of different Spider-People from across the multiverse. One thing we do know is that Issa Rae of HBO's Insecure will be playing Jessica Drew, better known as Spider-Woman. As for which other heroes will be joining the flick, we'll find out soon enough, as Into the Spider-Verse 2 hits theaters on October 7th, 2022. While Marvel is keeping quiet so far about what Carol Danvers will be up to the next time we see her, we do know that she won't be alone. The film that was originally presented as a sequel to 2019's Captain Marvel was revealed in 2021 to actually be a team-up feature titled The Marvels. Brie Larson will be returning as Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, the titular star of the first film. But joining her this time around will be Tiana Paris, who was introduced in WandaVision as a grown-up version of Monica Rambeau, and Iman Vellani, who will be appearing in her own Disney Plus series as Carol Danvers' #1 fangirl, Kamala Khan, aka Ms. Marvel. The team-up adventure will be soaring into theaters on November 11th, 2022. While most of the other MCU titles for Disney Plus seemed intended to further the overarching interconnected plot for Phase 4 and beyond, Marvel announced one title during Disney's 2020 Investor Day event that doesn't seem interested in epic battles or sprawling narratives and is much more concerned with being jolly and bright. That's right, the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special is coming to Disney Plus in 2022. What can we expect from a holiday-themed MCU space special? One may need to look no further than the much-maligned Star Wars Holiday Special, which Guardians writer and director James Gunn says he unironically loved as a kid.
What's up?
Gunn says he's had the idea for a Guardians Holiday Special for years, and that it's one of his favorite stories ever. The special will be live action and will bring back all of the main Guardians cast members. Gunn also confirmed that the special will be considered MCU canon, and it will be set between the events of Thor Love and Thunder and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It's still hard to picture exactly what to expect from the holiday special, but we'll find out in late 2022. Among the more interesting projects Sony has planned for their Spidey-centric universe is a solo vehicle starring the classic villain Sergei Kravenov, aka Kraven the Hunter. Descended from an aristocratic Russian bloodline, Kravenov has dedicated his life to becoming the world's greatest hunter, and no quarry has ever stoked his obsession quite like Spider-Man. While we're unsure of the plot, we know the screenplay will be penned by the Equalizer 2 scribe Richard Wenk, and screenwriting duo Art Markham and Matt Holloway. Interestingly, back in 2018, before Markham and Holloway came aboard, Wenk had some interesting ideas about the project. In an interview with Discussing Film, the writer said, "It's an interesting world, a great character. It's going to adhere very closely to the lore of Kraven the Hunter, and he is going to come face to face with Spider-Man." We don't know if that's true, but we do know who will be playing Kraven: MCU veteran Aaron Taylor Johnson, who portrayed the ill-fated Quicksilver in Avengers Age of Ultron. Kraven the Hunter will be helmed by Triple Frontier director J.C. Chandor, and it's scheduled to hit theaters January 13th, 2023. After playing a key role in saving the entire universe during the events of Avengers Endgame, Ant-Man will return for a third headlining feature, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Of the threequel director Peyton Reed promised, the third Ant-Man movie is going to be a much bigger, more sprawling movie than the first two. It's going to have a very different visual template. Returning for Quantumania are franchise stars Paul Rudd as Scott Lang and Evangeline Lilly as Hope Van Dyne, along with Hope's father and Scott's mentor Hank Pym and the long-lost wife he recently rescued from the quantum realm, Janet Van Dyne. Joining the cast will be Catherine Newson as the teenage version of Scott's daughter, Cassie, who was briefly played by Emma Thurman in Avengers Endgame. In the comics, Cassie becomes a superhero stature, one of the early members of the Young Avengers. Plus, Lovecraft Country star Jonathan Majors will be playing iconic Marvel baddie Kang the Conqueror, one of Marvel's most notorious and powerful villains. Expect to see our heroes battle their new foe on February 17th, 2023. Between getting fired and rehired by Disney over some old tweets, James Gunn decamped to Warner Brothers to write and direct his own take on the Suicide Squad. But he's coming back to finish what he started with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We don't know much about the plot of the movie, but considering where things left off, we assume it will have something to do with the Guardians searching for Gamora. We also know Rocket Raccoon will be a major player. As Gunn explained on Twitter, Rocket is a big part of what's happening in the future, and a lot of this stuff, like the scars we're about to see on his back, sets up what I've been planning for Rocket all along. As it now stands, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will be entering our orbit on May 5th, 2023. These aren't the only Marvel Studios and Sony Pictures projects on the slate for the years to come. Also reported to be in development with no announced release dates are Deadpool 3, Fantastic Four, Blade, Captain America 4, an untitled all-female Spider-Verse spin-off, Nova, Jackpot, an untitled Olivia Wilde project reportedly centered on Spider-Woman, an untitled S.J. Clarkson project reportedly centered on Madam Web, Black Cat, Silver Sable, Nightwatch. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.